Good morning. How are you all today? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. I want to talk about the possibility of, because I've had a lot of questions about this, a lot of people concerned, whether China may shut down our grid as a result of these little secret hidden things that they've put in so many of the solar panels, right? It's a legitimate question. It's a legitimate concern. I'll talk about that. Before I get to that, I want to talk about a couple of things. I want to say something about our sponsor, and then I also want to say something about the process of making our sponsor, the Stone Mountain series, into a movie. And that's real exciting, and I know a lot of people have asked me about that, so I'm going to fill you in on that a little bit. Before we get to that, I do want to remind you that this and all of my videos are brought to you by the Stone Mott series, my books, the books that I wrote, all about actually a grid down. the grid goes down across the world, and it's a great story. It's 6 novels about a prepared family who, as a result of their preparedness, is able to not just continue to live well, but help others and rebuild society and things like. It's a positive series as opposed to so many of the negative ones out there. That's why people are considering making it into a movie, and I'm very excited about that, but I'll talk more about that in a minute. First off, I want to warn you about something about this. I've always said you can get them one of 2 ways, either through Amazon, which the link is down below, or directly from me through our website, stonemont.us. And I've always said that I love it when people order through the website. But here's the thing. I spent yesterday signing books and getting them out. The day before that, signing books and getting them out. Today I'm gonna sign books and get them out. And we have just been slaughtered with orders since April. And previous to that, we've been able to keep up with fulfillment pretty well. I don't know what happened, but we've been smothered. And I just realized yesterday, because I don't check the money all the time and things like that, I just realized that I was still signing books and shipping them out on orders from April. So guys, I don't want if you want them quickly, get them through Amazon, okay? I really like it when you get them through me, but I don't want people to be upset when it takes a lot longer to get them through our website. And so I'd rather you be happy and get them than not happy and waiting on them. And we're kind of dependent on our printer. By that I mean we put in orders for the place that prints them, and then we have to wait on the orders to get in. Sometimes they get in late, and sometimes whatever. And then but we've been getting so many orders for the last 2 months. I've never seen anything like it. That it's just, we think that we order enough, and so many orders keep coming in, it just wasn't enough. So anyway, I would, as much as I like you to order from me, I don't want you to be upset if you do it and your order is late. I mean, right now, even if no more orders come in right now, I'm hoping to be caught up in about 3 weeks. We're that far behind because of so many orders. So anyway, I just wanted to let you all know that if you want them quickly, get them through Amazon. If you don't mind waiting for them, that's great. Order them from me. We'll get them to you as quickly as we can. And thank the Lord for the great blessing of them being so successful. And thank you all too. But and that link's down below if you want to order them through me, stonemont.us. Feel free to do that. Just, you're going to be in for a wait. Okay, we'll get them to you as soon as we can. All right, now, the next thing is the movie. A lot of you have asked, and a lot of you know, that we're talking to some people about the possibility of turning the Stone Mountain series into a movie. I'll talk about this, and then we'll get to the grid down. Met a couple weeks ago with some movie guys, and it was real interesting. Now there have been people over the years have been, kind of trying to get me to try to get it into a movie. Steve, your books ought to be a movie. I agree. I think it's a great story. It's all that. And so the meeting with the movie guys was very interesting. I'm learning a lot, and that's fun. It's so much more complicated than the average person would think. And a lot of the fun and challenge comes from that, right? So as I talked with these guys, it was clear that the Stonemont series, you can't make it into a movie. There's too much there to make into a movie. They'd slaughter it, they'd cut it up. It wouldn't come out being anything close to what my books really are. And so it was agreed that it needs to be a multi-season series. Okay, that makes the project so much bigger. And each book should probably be a season, and each season should probably be at least 10 episodes. Okay, that's the basics there. Well, as we got to talking, like I said, I just learned a lot. Great guys, really like the guys. They come from a Christian background, and have been involved in the production of feature films in the Christian genre. I'm also talking to other people. A friend of mine who's a lawyer, because when I was about to meet with these guys, I called a friend of mine who's a lawyer, and I said, hey, if I get into this movie stuff, I said I'm probably going to need a specialist, a lawyer who specializes in this. So he tightened me up with a guy out in LA who's an entertainment lawyer, and I called him, and I had a real nice visit with him, and he taught me some things. He told me some things to be aware of, and so I have, and told me to call him back if I need anything more, and I probably will. He also gave me a line on. He suggested that I get a literary agent, and he gave me one that is very involved in entertainment, Hollywood, stuff like that. Let me take a sip here for a second. So it's been real interesting. So I'm coming at it from several different ways. And yes, some people have suggested, well, why don't you put it out to Angel Studios? Well, they're definitely one that we are. Okay. And now with that, and there's different ways that you come at different, I don't know, what would you call it, production companies, One way, if you go for the big boys, Paramount and Netflix and things like that. And then there's another way if you go for like Angel Studios and some of the others. There are others out there like that. And so I'm looking at all of them, okay? And right now, we're kind of in the beginning process of, or I am, and I take advice. I find people who can give me advice because I don't know anything about it, and when you don't know anything about it, you better find people who do know something about it, and so they can advise you on it. And so I'm now in the process of working on developing what they call a torch. And a torch is this is an Angel Studio situation. A torch is like a 5 to 20 minute mini movie that you make and to try to give an idea of what the entire movie or series would be about. And so I'm going to do the first one on the first book, The Reversion. And so now I'm thinking about, shooting locations and casting and scripting and all these kinds of things. And I tell you, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun too. And many of you know, I always have a lot of irons in the fire, right? So, I don't know whether the explosion in the orders for the books came about because the word got out that there may be a movie made about this. Maybe so, I don't know. But for whatever reason. So anyway, that's where we are on that. We're in the process or I am in the process of the first steps of creating a torch, 5 to 20 minute movie that I can send to Angel Studios, and then we'll see, right? These things take a long time. I would be surprised if anything got done before a year. So I want to say that, and there are some projects that take longer than that. And there's so many things that go into it. So many things. I mean, I don't want to bore you with all the different details and all that. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to let you know that that's what's going on here. Okay, now, the danger of grid down. And the story came, the story popped, I don't know, several weeks, a month ago, something like that, about the Chinese, about engineers discovering that there were kill switches in all of the inverters that we had got from China for solar panels, and I forget whether it was in the panels themselves also or just the inverters. I forget what, but they discovered, and it's not important. If they can shut down the grid, that's what's important. Okay, shut down solar. Here's the thing. And a story just came out a few days ago. I forget what network it was on, covering this again. Just kind of, getting it back in the attention of the public. Well, now, why would they shut down or want to shut down solar? Well, very simple, because we know that they already have the ability to shut down our main grid. Okay, they do. They have their little sleeping, whatever you call it. I know some of the guys over on the Patreon channel. By the way, if you're not with us on our Patreon channel, that link's also down below. Come on over. It costs you $1 a month, and there's a lot of great people over there that are smarter than I am, and we will learn. We learn from each other over there. Great community. You ought to be a part of it. So we know that, and we've known for a long time, that the Chinese have the ability to shut down our grid, that there are already things embedded within the code or whatever. I'm quickly getting out of my lane here, to shut down the grid. So that would be number one. But as more and more people go to solar, the next obvious step is for them to be able to shut down solar, right? Now, whether that means, and we know there are these huge solar farms out there that do provide electricity to the grid, okay? So maybe through the things they put in those solar situations, they might be able to take down. Is that another point of entry to taking down the main grids? There are 3 grids in the United States. This is what my books are about, okay? Not the Chinese taking it down, but the grids going down. But if they take down the grid with things they already have in it, then taking down solar would definitely be the next thing, right? So, I mean, the Chinese are smart. Everybody's smart in this world. And everybody's sneaky. And everybody, if you don't have a plan B, C, D, E, and F, you're not really playing the game. It's because it's all a matter of then what, or what if, okay? And they are smart. Now, the danger is that China is collapsing. I know if you watch some of the other preparedness channels, they'll tell you that China is all that, and they're so far ahead of us, and they are, their military is better than ours, and their economy is stronger than. None of it is true. Their economy is in shambles. Their leadership is in shambles. They have internal problems, probably even greater than we do here, or in the United States, and wherever you are. They have big problems. And what makes a country dangerous, just like what makes an animal dangerous, is when they feel that they've been backed into a corner, and they might be close to losing it. And this is always the concern with the nuclear powers, and most of them have said, hey, we will go nuclear if it looks like the survival of our country is at stake. Now, you've heard a lot lately about the tariffs and trade deficits and trade imbalances and all this kind of stuff, and how that might affect us in different ways. Don't listen to any of that. How it could affect us, but the people who are saying it have no idea what's really going on, and neither do you, and neither do I. So I'm not necessarily ragging on them, but I'm saying that too many people allow themselves to get wound up in this stuff. Oh, I heard so and so say this, and this channel said that, and this news outlet said that. Hey, if it's in the news or it's on channels and it has to do with the background, negotiations between countries, is probably not true, because that information is not getting out to the public. We have no idea what's going on in the background of pretty much anything. I remember the first time as a young police officer, and the first time that I was on a scene of something, and the news trucks pulled up. This won't surprise many of you. The news trucks pulled up, and man, I said, "Oh wow, look at this! Something I'm involved in, and they're filming me and everything, and this is going to be so cool, and my parents will see it, and they said, yeah, it'll be on the 10 o'clock news or whatever." I couldn't wait, man. I got home. I was working the day shift. I got home. I couldn't wait for the news, and I turned it on. Here came the big story, right? I'm all excited, and the story came on. I couldn't even recognize the situation that had actually happened by what they said about it. It was like, a different dimension. It had nothing to do. The ignorance of those people was astounding, and they didn't have any of the real information. And so that was a big lesson to me. If it's in the news, it probably isn't true. Simple as that. But it is there for a reason. And the thing is, I say it's just like the old newspapers. Stories aren't made, for the most part, by people who actually know about whatever the situation is they're covering. They're made by writers or producers who have a deadline and a producer. Okay? Simple as that. Or a newscaster who has a producer. They have a deadline. Okay, in the old days, newspapers, I need 50 column inches on such and such, and have it done by 10 o'clock at night so we can get it in the morning paper. And the crap that they would fill those column inches up with was just that crap. It had nothing to do. It didn't advise anybody. It didn't teach anybody. But the thing is, when people got up and they watched their morning news or read their morning paper, they thought they had been informed, right? Not even close to the truth. Let me take another sip here. So what's the danger? The danger we don't know, and that's important. We don't know the danger, but we do know what to do to prepare for it. That's the important thing. So often, so much time and energy is wasted by people being afraid of this and that and the other thing, instead of simply staying on course and preparing to be your own provider. Preparing, to be self-reliant, to be resilient, to have an understanding that the world is a complex place and it's a dangerous place, and things can happen like that. They seem to come out of nowhere, or they, maybe they come out of a long process. But whatever it is, when it happens like that, and all of a sudden, at that point, it's too late to prepare for it, right? Well, we have time now, at least, hopefully before I end this video, we are still in the preparedness, the preparing time. And it's important because of all the dangers in the world. It's important that we use this time to the best of our ability, to whatever our time and our finances and our energy and our smarts, will allow us to do. The situation is not whether China will shut down the grid, or the question. We know, scientists tell us the grid will shut down 100% as a result of a CME. That's what my books are about, a coronal mass ejection. Now, it could also shut down as a result of cyber attacks and EMPs. But for whatever it is, that is the big daddy. That is the thing that an enemy will do when it really gets to the point where they feel their very existence is threatened. And even if another country doesn't do it, the sun's going to do it. It's going to do it. If you've been with me before, or if you follow other channels, we know that a Carrington class or greater CME we're overdue for one now. And when it hits, Uh, everything's down. Everything's down. The question you need to ask is not whether China is going to do it, but when it does happen, are you ready for it? Okay? That's what you need to ask yourself. Now, fortunately, I've given you all the answers. If you say, Steve, what should I do to get prepared for that? Well, I've already told you, okay? I wrote 7 books about it: The Reversion, The Revival, The Renewal, On Appeal to Heaven, The Blessings of Freedom, Hostages to Fortune, and On Wings Like Eagles. And now, one of the things that I forgot to tell you earlier, remember, the quick way to get them is through Amazon. Links down below. If you want to get them from me, and I love it when you do that, I'm not going to tell you not to, because I get to sign them for you and write a little note into you. We are able to give you a discount, and then we throw in also the Stone Mount Notebook, which you can't get that through Amazon. But it's we're way behind order fulfillment. We're doing our best. It's going to be a while for you to get them. 3 weeks a month. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to let you know about that. Okay. So, but I wrote everything in here. You want to know how to get ready for a complete collapse of everything, which is coming? Here you go. And you can learn all about it while reading a great story. You will learn things in here that you hadn't even thought to ask the questions. That's what people have told me. It'll change the way you view preparedness. It'll change the way you prepare. In some ways, it'll change the way you view life and live your life. I know that sounds like a big talk, right? Well, that's just what people have told me, so I'm passing it on, because I'd like you to be ready. I'd like you to prepare. Okay. So remember, if you get it through me, be ready to wait. But if you get it fast, get it through Amazon. Get it through Amazon first, so you have the information. No, I'm kidding. So just think about that. Are the Chinese going to shut our grid down? Well, they're perfectly able to, and they're poised to, and they're ready to if the time comes, and only they know what that time is. Okay, we don't know, but we do know that we need to be prepared. All right. Okay. Well, you all have a good day. I'm going to get about my Saturday signing books and stuff like that, and thinking more about the movie, and being prepared. Okay? All right. So you all have a good one. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow, because I want you to live well tomorrow, just like I want to live well tomorrow, right? Okay. Y'all have a good day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.